Ukraine is once again on edge. A devastating overnight attack by Russia has killed at least 8 civilians in the Ukrainian capital, including a 6-year-old boy and his mother. And now President Zelensky is not just asking for weapons or aid, he is calling for something far more serious. He wants a regime change in Russia. In fact, in the early hours of Thursday, missiles and drones tore through the skies over Kyiv. Over 300 drones, 8 cruise missiles were reportedly launched by Russia across Ukraine, most of them aimed at the capital.
When everyone was asleep, a missile struck. The entire building was practically destroyed. Some of the houses and some of the flats were burned down. It was a nightmare. I woke up to the sound of the missile striking and everything started falling on me. It was terrifying. Nothing remained of the flat. The walls were destroyed and there were no partitions left.
I ran out. I found a blanket. It was covered in dust. I shook it out. I ran out wearing only a shirt. Thank God I met someone here. She saw that I was wearing only a shirt. She took me to her place. She gave me trousers and a jacket, and she gave me coffee.
A residential block in the city's western suburbs was reduced to rubble. Children, at least 9 of them, were among the dozens injured. One missile is said to have ripped through the front of a 9-storey building, leaving belongings, concrete, bodies scattered in the debris. The overnight attack had caused damage in 27 locations across 4 districts of the Ukrainian capital. Kyiv residents took shelter in the metro while explosions rocked the capital all night over ground. Footage also showed Ukrainian rescuers rescuing injured people from the apartment block hit in Russia's attack. As the sun rose, emergency crews were putting out fires, cutting through concrete blocks in search for survivors. In recent months, Russia has stepped up airstrikes on Ukrainian towns and cities that are far from the front line. Ukraine's president says that the world cannot afford to ignore this anymore. Speaking virtually at a conference marking 50 years since the Helsinki Accords, Zelensky said, and I'm quoting, "Russia can be pushed to end this war if the world does not aim to change the regime in Russia. Moscow will still try to destabilize its neighbors even after the war," quote unquote. And while the situation was unraveling in Kyiv, a different battle was playing out in the east. Russia now claims it has captured the town of Chasiv Yar in Donetsk. Chasiv Yar, just for context, has been a key military hub for Ukrainian forces. And control of the town would basically open up the path to major cities like Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, potentially crippling Ukrainian logistics in the east. But Ukraine is pushing back, calling Russia's claim a lie. They say that intense fighting is still underway with forested terrain and urban ruins favoring the defenders. And as Russia tightens its grip on Ukraine's east, political pressure on Moscow is mounting in the west. US President Donald Trump has issued a 10-day ultimatum to the Russian president: end the war or face sweeping sanctions next week. Russia is shrugging off warnings from Washington as of now. The Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says Moscow is used to Western pressure. In fact, he said that Russia has been living under a huge number of sanctions for quite a long time, and that the Kremlin will not be swayed by threats. So what's the message from Moscow really? Pressure will not end the war. But Ukraine is not waiting anymore. Ukraine's foreign minister posted on social media, I'm quoting, "It's time to make Putin feel the pain. Maximum pressure must be applied," quote unquote. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.